You're listening to The Topcast, the original podcast for growth-minded instrumental music and voice teachers since 2015, with your host, Tim Topham. Our mission at Top Music is to empower instrumental music and voice teachers to find and nurture their innate creativity so that they can teach lessons that are innovative, integrated, and inspiring, and that will have a positive, lifelong impact on their students. Join us each week as we interview teachers and creators from around the world and unpack fun and exciting ideas to maximize your teaching and studio business success.
Tara Wright here, and welcome back to the Topcast from Top Music Co. At Top Music, we love guiding and supporting music teachers just like you to engage, motivate, and inspire your students and run the most sustainable studio business possible using our integrated music teaching system. It's great to be with you for the first episode of the year. Our episode today comes from our Top Music course, Assess, Plan, and Execute. Over the next several weeks, I will be showing you how I do all the things I do, how I set goals, make plans, and achieve my goals, all while having a life. If a lot of these ideas are new to you, please give yourself time. Small changes over time add up to big results, as long as you are patient and persistent. Learn from my mistakes and my successes. And if you find something that works better for you, by all means, do that. In this episode, we'll go through why it's important to assess where you've been and what a business assessment entails. Mindset is key when it comes to reviewing and planning. These are a few of my favorite tips to help you get started. Now remember, it's going to take some honest thinking about yourself and your business. So stay open to positive thinking, constructive feedback, and celebrating even the smallest things you've accomplished. So let's dive right on in. Hey y'all, welcome to the business assessment module. It might feel a little bit silly to do some sort of business assessment, especially if you're in the middle of your teaching year, but don't worry. If you're watching this and it's not the end of the year, that's okay. I actually use this business assessment at least twice throughout the year. Typically, I will do this around the beginning of the year, and I'll also take time to review in June or July. I want to first ask you, how do you feel in general about the last 6 or even 12 months? Are you sitting there excited about what's in store for the next 6 or 12? Maybe you're a little bit scared to be moving forward. You probably have mixed emotions as we're stepping into the next season, but reflecting back on our year is only going to make you stronger, more capable, and more resilient stepping into the next season. The best part about setting goals for your business and in your life in general is that you don't have to wait for the first of the year. You don't have to wait till Monday morning, and you can always pivot. So why not start today? So much has happened in the past 6 and 12 months, and I want you to take that information, the good and the bad, and be able to process it effectively so that you can make the best decisions moving forward. Whether you've never done a business assessment, or maybe you love looking deeper into your business, this course is going to help you uncover the information you need to move your business forward. Now, I'm going to explain to you why doing a business assessment is so powerful for your business and why spending time being intentional about what you need and what you've learned from the past is going to be the best thing you can do moving forward. The goal of our time together for me is to give you my exact framework when I'm managing multiple 6 and 7 figure businesses for reviewing the past season, so you can step into your next season with much more strategic and aligned goals that will work for you and your studio. Now, there is a workbook. If you haven't already grabbed it, you can grab it below. This workbook will take some time to go through, so I recommend carving out some time and grabbing your favorite beverage as you work through this workbook. Now, I will typically go through this assessment and then come back to it about a week later. Sometimes I need to track down data, or I will think of something while I'm cooking dinner or driving in the car, and I want to add that to my assessment. Now, before we jump into all the questions I want to talk about, a couple mindset reminders. I'm task-oriented, and I feel like some of you watching are going to resonate with that. But because I am task-oriented, it can sometimes be difficult to look back at what I did, and more importantly, what I didn't do. I always want to start by doing a business assessment, by doing some positive thinking, just to allow myself to get in the right headspace to review. Because when you review, you're naturally going to uncover great things and not so great things. When we get into this mindset shift, it allows us to look at our business from a place that's not necessarily emotional, but from a place that can really assess what's working and what's not working for the greater good of our clients, for the greater good of our family, for the greater good of our own happiness, and the longevity of our business. So a mindset reminder that I want you to have is to be open to constructive feedback and do not let the negative bring you down. I want you to feel as if you're being honest with yourself. The next thing is I want you to be open is to celebrating, because a lot of us forget to celebrate, especially the small things. I don't know about you, but I tend to forget to celebrate the little and the big victories because I'm always chasing what's next. I want you to be open to looking at your calendar, and maybe in quarter one, you didn't tackle any business goals. Maybe your business just stayed consistent. Man, look at what you did with your family. This last year is a guide to the next year. If you start to look back at the last 6 or 12 months and you feel defeated and you're like, I just want to throw in the towel because this year is not what I wanted it to be business-wise, and I don't have a lot to celebrate. Firstly, I want to tell you to look at the small victories that you've had. I can tell you, they are there. I'm sure you've overcome a challenge with a student, or maybe you were finally able to book a student in a time slot no one would take. Those small victories are worth celebrating. Secondly, I want to tell you it's been a hard year for a lot of people around the world, and you are not alone. Just know it's a season, and seasons do change. That's why you're here. You are here to set your next season up for success. Now, some of you watching this may realize you need or want to change a good bit from the past season of your life. Maybe when you start to give yourself constructive feedback, you realize change needs to happen in order for you to work from a place of peace. Then some of you look back and you're like, wow, what a wonderful season I've had. I want to rinse and repeat. Now, you can use that season as a guidebook. Just know that it won't be identical because, well, life happens and no 2 years are ever the same. I think a lot of people find it challenging and overwhelming to dive a little deeper into a review because so much has happened in the past 6 or 12 months, but I'm here to help you along the way. One of my biggest tips for you is to break everything down, like we tell our students to do. When I'm doing a big assessment, I break it down by quarter or season and go through each one individually. But we'll talk about that in another module. Now is the time to grab your workbook and grab your favorite beverage, and let's dive deep into what this last season was like for you.
Top Music Pro enables you to be a pro in your own studio because you don't have to reinvent the wheel and you don't have to make up all the answers yourself. You have support.
I think of Top Music as the pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. This site is the whole pot of gold, and there's gold pieces in there that I didn't even know existed.
I am actually teaching a full studio. They're coming online from miles away. So I am certainly thriving.
So what Tim has done is build a global community of piano teachers who are interested, who are engaged. And when you become part of this community, you feel empowered.
My life is different now because I'm not just in an isolated little studio. I have learnt that there are other people out there going through very similar learning curves and sharing these ideas.
I've really gained a lot of skill sets where my teaching is far more creative, far more innovative. I have resources so that I can add to it things that I didn't know.
My life and my business are different now because I have the 3 things that I really wanted: less stress, more money, and more time.
It's going to be fun. I got excited about being a piano teacher. It's revolutionized everything that I do.
I think I've become a more thoughtful teacher, a more organized teacher. The quality of my teaching has deepened.
I feel like I can do this. I feel a sense of hope. I love the creativity it fosters and the openness to thinking outside the box, and it's energizing.
Joining Top Music really solidified that. This is your career and you can make a career out of this. That has really helped me be proud of what I do.
It's made such a tremendous impact on the way I think about teaching. It keeps your mind open when you have so many ideas.
My best win from being on Top Music Pro is just having a lot more peace of mind as a teacher and as a business owner. It just gives me that less amount of hours that I have to do with research and everything.
It's a really good place to spend a few pounds, a few bucks a month. What you get from it far outweighs what you have to pay into it.
My biggest win with Top Music Pro was increased student retention and increased income. I have a lot more confidence in how I'm teaching, and I have the resources that I need when I do have questions.
I probably went from about 35 students to maybe like 65. I ended up doing 3 classes and I had a waiting list.
If I hadn't signed up with Top Music Pro, I probably wouldn't have realized that teaching piano is a real job and you can build your whole career around it.
Looking for ways to save time, spark creativity, and make your studio run smoother? Check out the Top Music AI podcast. It's brand new and we are launching it this month. Each week, we dive into how AI can transform your teaching and your studio management with practical tips and real-world insights. If you're curious, click the link in the show notes to listen now. That's the end of the show this week. Next week on the podcast, we're going to dive into Module 2, Assess Your Business, but how? I'm Tara Wright, and you've been listening to the Topcast. Speak to you next time.
How do you keep up to date with all the latest trends and research into music education? How do you connect with other teachers around the world and make sure your teaching stays fresh and relevant for students of all ages and stages both now and into the future? I created our Top Music Pro membership to be the one-stop shop for music teaching resources, training, support and community, and I'd love for you to come and join us inside. With over 40 comprehensive training courses, hundreds of teaching demonstrations and lesson plans, free monthly sheet music, discounts and all the business and pedagogy support you could ever need, Top Music Pro is the community you've been looking for. If you're ready to level up your learning from the podcast and join thousands of other teachers in our global network, head over to topmusicpro.com today. If you enjoy this show and want to hear more of our work, be sure to subscribe to this podcast wherever you're listening today. For links and resources mentioned in this episode, visit us at topmusic.co/podcast or check out the show notes. I'm Tim Topham. Thank you so much for listening. Enjoy your week ahead, and I'll catch you next time.